For those with good taste.
Welcome back, Tasties and Tastettes, to the first in a while episode of Good Taste Weekly. New location, same old BS, maybe.
Yeah.
Like
New
lack
room,
of
same crew.
Yeah, lack of a plan. Just gonna spitball. But I hope you like the new digs.
Yeah. This was the extent of our plan.
Yeah.
We're gonna move the room.
Yeah, we're gonna just new location, new coat of paint, not new us.
Yeah.
And here we are.
Oh,
And yeah, I think we got inspired. At least I got inspired again. To get in here and get some Superman takes off.
hell yeah.
So that's kind of the plan. I wanted to start with you while talking about. Actually, before we get to the movie, I had one thing about the movies that I wanted to throw out there to you.
Yeah.
I took note of this not when I saw Superman, but whatever I saw F1 before Superman. And I think that's where I took note of this.
Okay.
And yeah, just give people a rundown. Also, we're gonna talk Superman, but also it's been a month, so we've seen movies. We're gonna run through that stuff too. Let you know what we liked, didn't like, the whole nine. Did you notice the Allstate commercial that they now air before movies?
I don't think I'm getting there early enough for that.
It's right before. It's the last thing they play before they do the AMC is where movies come to life or some shit. It's like the very last thing they do before that, and it's like a 20-second thing. But I took note of it because I was like, are they really just playing an Allstate commercial before this movie right now, is what I wrote in my phone. And I thought it was weird, but I was like, all right, I'm watching F1. Maybe they're partnered with this driving movie. So I was like, that maybe makes some sense to me.
That makes sense because you know the whole Jurassic World thing
Yeah.
they did with the Odysseus trailer or the Odyssey trailer,
Yeah.
where it was like after the whole Nicole Kidman thing, which still pisses me off that people applaud at that. It's like, all right, they've been doing that a while. Like, how often do you come to the movies?
I'm getting pissed off at people applauding during movies, generally speaking. I want it all to end.
That too.
Yeah.
So like they applaud to that, and then you get like the green like general audience screen or whatever, and I'm like, oh okay, this is weird. I haven't seen a movie start this way in a while.
Mm-hmm.
And then it just goes into another trailer, and I was like, what
For
the
a
fuck?
movie from a year from now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was like, oh,
I mean, like, Nolan, let's stop sucking our dicks a little bit here, huh? How about that? The movie looks damn good, though, to his credit. Great cast.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was my only thing. Because it's not an F1 thing, because they played it before this movie. They played it. There was one before Superman, an Allstate commercial.
Okay.
So it's definitely just an AMC, like, how can we stay in business, maybe?
Let's get some bucks from Allstate.
There's also a new AMC, or it's a Regal. I'm on Reddit too much these days. And there's a Regal Unlimited subscription, but I think one of these theaters has a new version of movie theater. But when I looked it up, they were like, "Oh, it's AMC Theaters XL is what the theaters are called."
What the hell is that?
So they're selling it as the idea that they have larger screens. However, what I read was everybody was like, they just did like a rehab on their older cinemas, and it's the same screens that they have in all of their cinemas. They've just finally updated like some of the aesthetic stuff.
Hell yeah.
So yeah. That's
that
just
for
a
them.
good marketing scheme by them. Let's talk Superman, though. I want to hear your thoughts first.
Yeah.
I want to hear, did you like it? Were you surprised? What were you feeling coming out of the movie?
I think overall I liked it. I think it's been a while since I've had kind of a fun run with a DC movie.
Everybody could say that.
Yeah.
Well, the Batman is a DC movie,
Fair.
but I think we're kind of like the Nolanverse and now the
Yeah,
Batman
so,
are
like,
on their own little
Yeah,
islands.
the tone was very different, whereas like the Batman was a way more like serious movie.
Yeah.
This definitely was a lot more playful. And initially I didn't know how I felt about that, but I think it worked. I think the movie started out strong. Kinda, I don't want to say fell flat in the middle, but just didn't really carry the same momentum it had that it started with. But I think it wrapped up pretty nicely though.
Yeah. So here's what inspired me to get back in the stew. To get back on a mic.
Oh,
This is what inspired me.
Are we getting another rant?
No, I'm mostly positive here.
Okay.
Two things. Three things.
Oh God. 4 things.
Maybe 5, 6, 7. I don't know.
Yeah.
All right. Going into the movie. Here's the thing. I think, generally speaking, I, especially because I know how I am, try to go into movies without getting a ton of reviews and all that shit before I walk into a movie.
Yeah.
But I think it was hard to avoid with this movie because, quite honestly, I think it's probably the most hyped movie of the summer. I think it's got the one that had the most questions about it, the most like anticipation. What if they get a Superman movie right? Like that could be fucking awesome.
Yeah.
So obviously I saw some of the reviews or cinema score and like audience score and Rotten Tomato score. Everything had it like 90%, 90%, right? I watched the movie. We can go more into detail, but I think I align mostly with where you're at.
Yeah.
Yeah. Again, I'll go into detail, but here's my second and third points. I leave the theater. I saw the movie with a good friend of ours. You guys may know him as well. He does the podcast with us occasionally. Dave Ray. D-Ray. D33 Ray. He was in the theater with me.
Yeah.
We walk out of the theater, and I swear to God, I know Dave well. We've done the podcast enough times together. We've talked movies a lot over the 10 plus years that I've known him. I know him pretty well at this point. And I say to myself, Dave's going to fucking love this movie. I get out of the theater. We start talking about this movie. He's like, that movie, he says he didn't say this. I swear he did say this. He was like, that movie was 100 out of 100. He says he said 10 out of 10. I say that's the same thing.
Same thing, but with a little more oomph, you know?
I swear to God, I remember him saying 100 out of 100. And when I came back with like, and I think it was, because then I remember being like, I gave it probably like, I don't know, a 7.5, 8 out of 10. And I think that is a totally fair score. I got looked at like I was a fucking crazy person. Then, point 3. I'm walking with another friend of ours, Kai Chun Lee, to the parking garage.
You give him full government out here,
huh? Kevin Lee.
Given the history, name change and everything. Wow.
Kylie Chun. Does that help better? I don't know. Like, it's fine. We've said his name on here before.
Yeah.
Look him up, I guess. You need a TV. So I walk into the parking lot. We take the elevator up. No, actually, we didn't take this is where my beef comes, actually, furthermore. Addendum. Point 3.1.
Okay.
He had me take the stairs, and we're on the 3rd floor. So I walk up, get to my car. We're still talking as we do. We get to the parking lot. We usually chop it up a little bit about the movies the movie, what's the next thing that's coming out? Are we going to see it? Whatever. I'm gassed, out of breath. I've walked up 3 flights of stairs. Done. And some car pulls up to us, and he's just like, yo, out of 10, what'd you give Superman? And I say 7.5. And I again get looked at like I'm out of my goddamn mind. And he's
From
like,
a random stranger in
yeah,
the
he's like
garage?
a 7.5. He's like, bro, he's like, why? And I'm like, before I get into my actual details, again, I want to go back to addendum 3.1. I am gassed.
So you don't got a lot of energy to
You're
tell
asking
him
me
why.
my opinion. I'm still trying to catch my breath. So he asked me why. I got out. I'm like, 7.5. And he's like, what? The fuck? He's like, why? And I'm like, all right.
I just have this image in my head of you like hunched over, hands on your knees, gasping for breath.
I might as well have been. I'm sweating up a
And this
storm.
man's just trying to have a casual conversation.
Yeah. Kai's just standing there not speaking up, not saying a goddamn word for me. And I'm like, well, first and foremost, I'm not a Superman guy. Like, I want to start my review off by saying, not a Superman guy. He's never been a superhero that has resonated with me, that I've gravitated towards. Outside of Smallville, I have no true connection to Superman, which, Dante, I know you were a Smallville person as well.
Yeah.
Smallville's not really Superman.
It's Clark Kent.
Yeah. So it's a different thing. So I said that. I'm like, listen, man, not a huge Superman fan. Furthermore, like, I want to get into the actual review. I just want to say that the thing that inspired me to get back in the booth is a little bit of the fact that I feel like
You got some shit to get off.
this movie is such a prisoner of the moment movie. And I said this as soon as Dave said 100 out of 100 up to me, because I knew from the reviews I saw before the movie that I was worried while I was watching the movie, because I was like, this is good, but I don't see this perfect fucking movie that people are trying to tell me.
Thankfully, I was able to go into it completely blind. I had no clue what people were saying about it.
And why also I wanted you to go first is because I didn't want to like influence
my answer,
your answer at all with being like, hey, I kind of agree with you. I also need to get something else off my chest that is totally non-related, but I can talk shit about this right now and nobody's going to see it that matters. I am in a fucking dynasty fantasy football league, not the Good Taste League that we do, but a different one. And there's some guy that keeps offering me trades because we're in our rookie draft right now, and they're just abysmal trades. Like they're awful, and I want to message him and be like, I don't want to, like, stop offering me.
Yeah.
They all suck. Because here's the thing, dude. If somebody wants something, now he's offering me 2 trades for the same player that's not like a big name player. He's like a fucking backup running back. I know that you think that this guy's going to be really good, and you're trying to get him from me, but you keep offering me shit, and I'm not stupid. I digress. Back to the movie.
Right.
So the thing that inspired me to want to do this again is like, am I crazy? Am I the asshole? Like, I understand, like, I sometimes go counter what popular opinion is, and maybe not not to like spark outrage or like something. It's just by nature who I am a little bit. Like, I want to play the opposite.
I think the funny thing, and I'm sorry to cut you off here, but like, you know how you said you wanted me to go first so you wouldn't influence my opinion?
Yeah.
I think the problem is we've been doing this too long now.
Yeah.
Where our opinions fall very similarly. Well, like we look at movies in similar ways.
Sure, I agree, but there are times where like
there are a few times where we end up on opposite ends of the spectrum.
We might fall in the same realm. I don't know that we look at movies the same way though, because I think I look more analytically at things like the way it's shot and like artistic choices more than you maybe look at artistic choices at times.
I think that's fair, because I think one of the more important things to me is the way the story plays out, right?
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
How captivating is it? Like, how good is the character development? How much do they make me care? Do I feel any sort of emotion throughout it?
Let's start there to get into the actual review of why I have issues with putting this movie as far. So let's talk about characters.
I think that was one of the weak points, is the character development.
The development. Here's what I said to Dave.
The characters
were good. Like the casting of everybody, I thought was strong. Who?
So I hate saying this, right? Because I do genuinely like this actor, but I don't think I loved Isabella Mossad as Hawker.
That I agree. She was definitely a letdown.
Like, it was just like, what the fuck is this?
She's an actor I very much like, and I think has a lot of like potential going forward. She's young, very young. But she was just not that integral of a character. She was
definitely a side character.
She had the least cool superhero powers like to use of anybody, it felt like, and she wasn't particularly funny. Like, and we'll get into the humor stuff. I thought her quips, of all the quips in the movie, because it was a quippy movie, were some of the weakest. Like, she was trying to play like the apathetic teenager character or younger adult character, but it didn't play like that to me. Or maybe like that, like apathetic maybe is the right word, but yeah, just didn't care as much at times. It felt like,
Yeah, I can see that.
But so my issue is like, I thought, can you look up his actual name? It's slipping my mind right now. It's like Crenshaw or something, right? But either way, the dude who plays Superman, David Crenshaw, is very good. Thought he was well cast. Thought Lois Lane was well cast.
It is David.
Okay, what was the last name?
Cornsweet.
Yeah, okay. So I knew it was a C.
Okay.
And especially Nicholas Hoult as Lex Luthor, I thought
Nicholas Hoult was the strongest performance.
Yeah, was very, very, very good. Like, not like as iconic as the Joker, Heath Ledger, but like that level, I think, of like understanding of what you were trying to achieve with your character.
Yeah.
The problem is what you said. I think character development severely lacks in this movie, and I think it's for a couple of reasons.
I think Big problem is a lot of the characters they introduce, they're just kind of giving to you under the guise of like, these are known characters. You should know their backstory, and you kind of have to make it up as you go, whether or not they have varying backstories. You just have to figure out which one applies, I guess.
So this is what I said to Dave. I'm like, so for you to give a movie 10 out of 10, this is why I can't give it 10 out of 10. Your characters, just because they're cast well and they're performed well, if there is no growth of said character and there's no understanding of why their characters are doing what they do, it makes it very hard for me to feel at the end of the movie that I saw a fully complete movie. I saw a very well acted movie. I can agree with that. But let's look at two particular things. Superman. Superman does this interview at the beginning of the movie. 3, 2, 1. That's not a spoiler yet, but I don't give a fuck. I'm talking spoilers. We're back in full swing. 3, 2, 1. If you want to be here, be here. If you don't, you weren't already. Yeah. So we do a part at the beginning that is an interview with Lois. And the interview, I thought that was a very interesting scene. Like from a couple standpoint, I think it helped you be like understand where they were at in their relationship and things like that, and like understand a little bit of him as a character. But his whole premise at that point of why he does what he does, right? He's very steadfast now, which I expect Superman to be. Like I'm going to protect people. The political aspects don't matter. The ramifications don't matter. I see right. I'm going to do right. And that's just like, I see everything in a very black and white world, right? Like, not that he's racist. So he has that outlook. Did that outlook change? Did he have something that happened in the third act of this movie that built through the second act that changed the way he approached the final fight, where he is part of just, another, he just throws himself into another huge fight. There was just
the same person in the end that he was in the beginning.
You created a thing that you gave us, you established where he's at as a character now. So the idea that he would have a little bit more like
growth.
Yeah, like growth in terms of like, let me stop and think about the ramifications of what I'm happening. They didn't even give him a position to think about the ramifications of what he was going to do. So I think that. Secondly, Lex. While it was well acted, like you said, it was basically like it's great that we know who these characters are. And it's great that you can just think that like now we don't need to do the Bruce Wayne death of his parents. We don't need to do Clark coming down from space, like, because people have seen Smallville, people have seen the Superman story 3 different times. We don't need to do these things. That's fine if we want to skip some steps. I understand that. However, by skipping those steps, if jealousy is a motive for why you're going to destroy the entire world, not just kill Clark, not just kill Superman, he's literally destroying the whole world, and the only reason they give me is jealousy. For me to be attached to the idea of why his jealousy is so bad, I probably need to have seen how he became jealous. Like some of those aspects of that story are probably important for me to relate to the motives, not for you to just tell me what the motive is and then see the mass levels of destruction that he's willing to go through. And the only thing that you can tell me for a reason is just, I'm just supposed to accept he's jealous. Like that's such a shallow reason, and it wouldn't be so shallow if the problem is we saw Smallville. So they're just like, okay, you just saw Smallville. Then
the biggest
Tom
problem
Welling.
with me having seen Smallville is I found myself comparing it too much to Smallville, and I think that's part of where I started to not like some things about it.
Because the humility that like Tom Welling's version of Clark has, I think reigns through a little bit more than some of the
they really
stuff
should have
in
gave me
this.
Tom Welling. I would have.
Well, this is what I'm saying. That if you told me that, like, if you want to do the whole, don't tell me the background.
Yeah.
Just cast Tom Wellings and then say Smallville.
Say I have the background.
Yeah. Integrate that in, because then if you do Michael Rosenthal as Lex, well, then I can accept this huge history that they have that I understand why they hate. Because you gave me 10 years of the 2 strongest things of Smallville pretty much were Clark and Lex, right?
Yeah.
And that character arc developed and you understood their love and their hatred for each other. That they weren't just enemies. That there was a lot of times during that season that Lex was genuinely
growing up, they were
a good friend to him,
friends,
right? Like we saw the wedges get drove. When you just try to tell me that the wedge was there, well, he's just jealous because he saw a guy who's better than him at stuff, like that people like more than him.
Yeah.
And I'm supposed to, like, okay, like I get in a lot of movies that is an acceptable thing. But if I come out of a movie and I have people telling me 10 out of 10s and hundreds out of 100s, these can't be problems in your film. My next issue, I said it. James Gunn is great. I don't want to say he's not good, because look at the shit the man has touched. He's basically fixed. He made the Guardians great when people didn't think that they were going to be anything. They were just supposed to be throwaway characters. Then he made great. He comes into Suicide Squad, right? That was trash on its first go around, and he put out what people consider to be an authentic version, or a closer to authentic version that people liked, of the Suicide Squad, right? Next, we get here. All of the things that he's good at, like injecting humor. Guardians of the Galaxy and Suicide Squad had characters that you could inject humor in and make it work. This movie has characters that the humor works with, but the problem is there's characters that I don't need to see making jokes. I don't need Superman quipping while he's in the middle of fights, right? Like, I don't need stupid little jokes while he's going to fight somebody. Like, that doesn't feel like, as a person,
Superman's never been depicted that way.
I guess, and I go back to, I'm not a Superman guy. So maybe you could go and point to me to specific comic runs where this is. But yeah, the Superman, I guess I go back to point one. If you're going to go with the idea that everybody knows these stories already, right? Well, then you have to understand the stories that we know. And none of the stories that I know, he's been particularly funny.
Yeah.
You know? And I guess I could take it more in like the nerdy style of funny, like when he's Clark Kent at the Daily Planet, right?
Yeah.
Like, I guess I can understand the quippy more there. But I don't need my Superman shouldn't be doing that. I don't know. It just didn't feel right most of the time. And then at times it was just like throwing humor into these like moments where could be more poignant or serious. And you just throwing jokes in there that take me out of it. And I'll tell you, for the first 30 minutes, I didn't laugh at any of it. Like, I really thought until Jimmy Olsen was on screen, I thought he was the only one who handled the humor in like a consistently solid way. That like mostly everything he did was funny. I thought I was gonna hate the dog, Crypto.
Yeah.
It grew on me. Like, there was moments where I thought the dog humor worked. There was moments where it felt a little forced, you know.
I didn't know how I was going to feel about that either, where they leaned more into him just being a dog, and like a very poorly trained one at that. But it worked for the movie, I think.
I feel like I'm dominating. I don't know if you have anything to add to anything that I've said.
I mostly agree with your takes, and you're way better at putting into words the feeling. Yeah, I think honestly, it just, hearing you say all that gave me more reasons to, I almost want to knock down my rating of it.
We'll get to, I want to get to the rating aspect, because that's going to trickle down into the other movie conversations a little bit for me.
And overall, like, I think we're hitting on a lot of the negative, and like, there are a lot of positive in this movie, and ultimately I would recommend going to see it.
100%. Like I said,
I also am looking forward to what their next installment of this is going to be.
This is where my gripe comes. 7.5 is a good score.
Yeah.
This is why I was bothered, because I said like 7.5, 8. Like,
yeah,
that's high for me,
and
first and foremost.
Like, what?
Like, that is a high score.
I don't give
for
anything
me.
a perfect score.
Well, that's what I said to Dave on top of anything else. I was like, I don't give anything 5 out of 5. Like that, or 10 out of 10. Like, I wouldn't do that. So if that, in theory, my 5 would then be a 9.5 or a 4.5, right?
Yeah.
So if I'm giving it an 8 or a 7.5, like, it's towards the higher end of what I consider movies. Like, I definitely recommend this. I just don't understand, outside of you just being like, I haven't seen a Superman thing that I unless you're saying I love Superman. Like, I've loved Superman, and everything they fed me is shit for 10, 15 years. So yeah, I'm just really, really happy that you finally gave me a respectable Superman.
And I think I fall slightly in that camp, but it still doesn't make this a perfect movie.
But that's where I come back
to. If anything, again, I think that like holds against it. There's just inconsistencies to the story of Superman that, you know, that they either changed or just weren't present here.
So like, that's where I come back to the prisoner of the moment thing.
Yeah.
I just think that with this movie, everybody's kind of caught up in the idea of, or the love or the affection that they have for finally getting something, a property that they love finally being done in a somewhat, or a more than above average, I would say, standpoint. Most of these things would be nitpicks if you weren't trying to sell me on the movie being 100% score, right? Because I'll go to my last thing. I didn't like, there was one actual action scene that I really, really liked in this movie. and then the rest of it was kind of whatever. And for a couple reasons, I like Superman's supposed to be so fucking powerful. He did not feel that way in this movie, and you're not telling the Clark Kent Smallville story, so you can't sell me on he just doesn't really know.
He's still learning how to use his powers
because you spent 2 minutes setting up this world at the beginning of this movie just with the number 3 over and over again. I didn't really like the intro was kind of like lazy. That the 333 like 30 years ago, 3 years ago, 3 months ago, 3 hours ago,
minutes ago,
I guess my point is like, so when you see the Batman, it's explained he's still in year 1. So like, there's a reason why he's not as well adapted or established, isn't fighting as well. They give you that reason. In this, it's already been established that he has been running shit for a few years now, like that he's already been saving the world. So to me, his power should be pretty well understood. He should be in pretty good faculty of all of his powers. How often did you see him use his laser eyes?
A few times, but
he got the other mimic version of him, right? Laser eyed him. Laser eye that motherfucker back. Like, what are we doing? His most powerful thing in this whole movie, Dante, was breathing.
He did do that a lot.
He was blowing a lot.
You also know what else he didn't really use hardly ever? The super speed.
Yeah. Well, and like there's 2 instances, but the 2 things he did the most, he blew on a lot of shit, and then the other thing he did was stand underneath things at least 3 different times in the movie and just hold it up to save people.
Yeah.
I was like, all right, great. Like that scene's been done in every Superman movie ever, so like that's cool, but why are we doing it 3 times with 3 different action sequences? Stupid. My other thing with the laser eyes and like the super speed and like just an intelligence aspect, the fact that he never caught on to like the cameras being all around.
That did take him an alarmingly long time.
The entire movie, Dante.
Alarmingly long time.
He's either alarmingly dumb or that's just a plot device put there to explain, because here's the problem. He got his ass for being so powerful. That dude got his ass whooped the entire movie with no kryptonite.
Yeah. Because in this universe, kryptonite is gone.
No, he had kryptonite in the movie. You remember there's kryptonite when he's in that cell.
Yeah, but the whole point of that was kryptonite is completely gone from the planet, and
so
Lex
he has
is like, I have a way to get more.
Create it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like he's just getting his ass whooped by a woman made out of fancy metal in himself over and over again.
Yeah.
But not himself that's intelligent, although they're trying to tell me he's intelligent. He couldn't figure out cameras being all around given direction. By an idiot version of himself. He got beat up by a fucking training dummy.
A training dummy that was sharp enough to follow orders.
I've been
Lex was the brains.
I've been playing UFC 5 a lot recently.
Yeah.
He just got beat up by me with a controller.
Pretty much, yeah.
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 Superman.
Yeah.
Like so these are my 3.
But you were controlling the other Superman with your controller.
Yeah. That's crazy. I'm not good at video games. Lex shouldn't be that good either. Like Lex is just playing chess. He was like rook to E5 over and over again.
Yeah. That was the first thing I thought when he kept saying like Q7, E5, B10. I'm like, we just making chess moves here?
Yes. That's what it was meant to. Like, yeah, I don't know. So these are the 3 gripes that I have that take it down from being a 7.5. And they unfortunately I have to say them all with a negative annotation around them when I do agree. Like Lex was fucking awesome. Like he ate every time that dude was on the screen.
They cast anybody else in that, and this movie loses points.
I also want to highlight the best action sequence of this whole movie. 2 things on this action sequence. It didn't include Superman, for one, which is insane. In the Superman movie, the best action scene of the movie didn't include Superman. It was Mr. Terrific.
When he went to the camp, right?
Yeah, that scene is incredible. Yeah. I thought that scene was visually the most aesthetically
a lot of the camera
pleasing,
work and angles they used.
Interesting.
Yeah.
It's like a one shot. It kind of had a little bit of the Guardians of the Galaxy when he's using the whistle and
okay.
You know, so it's a James Gunn thing again. Like he took a lot of the stuff that he's done. And when directors find their identity, like that becomes what a lot of their movies are, and that's what scares me a little bit with James Gunn taking over a whole wave of movies. Is like, how it's kind of like Joss Whedon ran into this, I think, a little bit with Avengers. Like, how do your movies have their own identity if each one's going to be directed by the same guy and the same quippiness? Because I can see the same stuff from Guardians.
Feel like the same.
Yeah,
movie,
like I can see the same stuff from Guardians just being input into this movie with different characters, you know? But yeah, the best action sequence in this movie was with Mr. Terrific. My second point to that action sequence, Dave gave this movie a 10 out of 10 or 100 out of 100, depends who you ask. He got up and took a bathroom break during that scene. He didn't even see the best scene of the movie. He gave it a 10 out of 10. He might have gone spiral tap on this bitch and gave it an 11 out of 10.
Dude, like, I don't know. If this is, by his words, even 10 out of 10, right? Like, if this is the best movie you've seen, how do you get up and go to the bathroom in the middle of it?
Well, so here, I will give Dave some credit here. Dave Googled before he went to the movie the best time to take a bathroom break. Because, again, I've seen enough movies with Dave. Dave has to get up at some point during a movie and go to the bathroom.
Okay.
Every single movie I've ever seen with him, he gets up at some point during to get up and go to the bathroom. So he looked up before, knowing he would need to at some point, what's the best time to go to the bathroom? He got up at that time. However, he wanted to get a refill on his popcorn and his drink.
Oh,
so he went to the bathroom, then went to get his refill. And you know how like they give you that little thing? And have you ever had this before where like you've gotten rid of the bucket and they're like, well, you need to keep the bucket. They just refill the bucket.
Yeah.
So he kept the bucket. They send him down in South Bay to where you get like the new popcorn from.
Yeah.
And he's just standing there, he told me. And he's like, eventually a guy came around. He's like, hey, I'm just trying to get this filled. And we're like, you could have just taken another bucket. So he had just been standing there waiting. And they were just like, yeah, take one of the buckets that's already there.
I don't use the refill thing very often, but I have used it in South Bay a couple times.
Yeah.
And typically what they do is they'll just take my bucket and go and scoop fresh popcorn in there.
Yeah. Like, I think that's what so he was thinking that's what was going to happen.
Yeah.
They told him that was what was going to happen. And then they were just like, yeah, just take one of those.
It's a whole miscommunication.
So that's why he ended up missing that scene, because he was supposed to have been gone only long enough to see, I think it's like the clubs, like I forget what scene. There was this particular thing that happened in like, there was a little lull right before the camp scene. Basically, where she goes, that's where she goes to their little hideout.
Oh, yeah.
Right before that.
Yep.
So he was supposed to be gone just for that, but he didn't get back until after that action sequence was finished. But that's by far the best scene, like action scene to me in the whole movie. I thought it was a lot of fun, really, really enjoyable. I thought from a visual standpoint, like 95% of the movie looked good. The thing that I thought looked really bad was
Green Lantern.
No. When they were in that dark void world, which is just like a shitty set piece.
Yeah.
It's just a green screen that's all blacked out and they're floating in it. Like, you know, like it just like looked aesthetically unappealing. But my problem is when they're escaping and he's in that, like in that stream that is all just pixels. Like it was literally from the Adam Sandler movie. Like it was the same stream that's in Inside Out too.
Okay. Yeah.
It's just like a computer generated Superman with a bunch of computer pixels that all look gross all around him, as he again is not using his super speed, his ability to fly. Like he's just getting pulled like a bitch into a black hole. And I'm pretty sure somebody pointed out that's
partly explained, right? He was drained from the kryptonite.
I think there's another Superman movie that he was able to get himself out of the black hole. Sure, you want to tell me this kryptonite thing, but he also got the sun.
He only got a little of it. Like right before he did it, he was like, I can't really give you the sun, but I can get you close to it.
He was bright as fuck.
And like he still had
like a
some,
Christmas
like,
tree
the black scars and everything. Like, you know what I mean? Like
if that's the
he
excuse
wasn't 100%.
I guess my initial point, it looked like shit.
Yeah.
It looked visually very bad. And I thought it would go, they'd realize that and get out of it sooner. But he spent way too long in it that I was like, this is pretty bad looking. You know? Everything else I thought for the most part was solid. I go back to, I guess the only thing with like towards the end, like Lex being so motivated that he's just like, fuck it, I'm gonna cut a hole in the middle of the earth. Like he's like, we'll just fly away from here. What's gonna happen if it keeps spreading? Eventually, like, what's the play here?
Yeah.
You know? I don't know. You're right. Like for a movie I liked a lot, the easy thing on the podcast is just come in and hit all your negative stuff generally. I think I feel more negative because everybody feels so positive that I have to like...
You want to give a fresh take.
I have to tell you it's not perfect.
Yeah, you don't want to sound like an echo, so you got to give a fresh
it's
take.
like
I get it.
it is a very good movie. It's a great reestablishment to a character that, yeah, I agree, has not gotten the best treatment for some years now. It is the largest domestic opening, or no, the largest. I think it fell short a little domestic, but it's the largest worldwide release. It's made back basically the money that it cost for the budget. So there's that.
Shit. Wow. Yeah.
I think it made like 250 worldwide.
It's actually a pretty small budget too.
212. Yeah.
No. Why am I seeing 55? Oh, sorry, wrong movie.
Yeah. Okay. I thought I saw 212 or something.
Yeah, you're right.
But yeah,
the worldwide is at 217. So
yeah, so like right at it. It's gonna do well. I think it has some staying power in the theater.
225 makes a lot more sense. I saw a suspiciously small budget and didn't question it.
There's a couple things going forward. Do they find a way to flesh out the Lex character more going forward? Because
yeah,
I assume it's not the last time we're gonna see him.
No.
Where do you go to? What characters? What enemy do you go to next? Because Lex is the biggest antagonist. Is he going to be the motivating factor for whatever?
I like that they
side?
used Ultraman to basically establish that's Bizarro.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like they could flesh that out a little bit more, because he got sucked into the black hole, right?
Yeah.
Because I feel like there's a lot of different like origin stories of like Bizarro, but like I think ultimately it's like he comes from like an alternate universe. But I think there are also stories where Lex created him too. So like, I don't know. I'd like to see more of it and see which way they go.
Yeah. If they're like, because Bizarro would be what I assume is the upcoming, what you'd be building to. It would be Doomsday or Bizarro, I think would be the two that you'd be building towards.
Yeah.
For the next couple movies.
Why do they keep hinting to Justice League without ever explicitly saying Justice League? Is that like a rights thing?
There could be a copyrights thing. I mean, maybe Google it. Yeah.
Yeah.
ChatGPT.
I only just now thought of that.
The other thing is, you get I don't know if it was post credit or if it was just the very end of the movie where Supergirl arrives.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That was the end of the movie. That wasn't post credit.
Okay.
2 post credits.
We're just
pointless.
nothing. Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess I don't know how I feel about that. I didn't have any real feelings on it in the moment. I guess I was kind of indifferent. But I did watch some stuff after, and they make me kind of interested in the Supergirl story a little bit more, of her coming to Earth first, or meaning to come to Earth first, but she gets lost, arrives there later, and she's seen all the destruction on Krypton and everything and is scarred by it, and that's why she drinks and all of that. I think that stuff could be interesting stories. But again, that's only interesting to me for the fact that I'd be starting from the beginning of her story somewhat, and I feel like it will be explained to me maybe in some ways. Because here's the worst thing that could happen with the second movie. If they just have her drunk throughout the whole movie and it's never explained to me why she's drunk.
It's just Hancock.
If it's just a bit that she's drunk the whole time. Yeah, exactly. It just becomes Hancock. And Hancock actually probably had arc to it. If I haven't seen it since it came out, but it probably had some story arc to it. But yeah, I guess that's that could be an interesting character going forward. The most interesting thing I thought from this is as of right now, there's no plans to integrate in Robert Pattinson's Batman, right? But I found myself coming away from this movie being okay, Batman's in year 1, right? Very early on in his progression. You come back with a sequel and maybe he's in year 3, 4, 5, somewhere in there, right? You have him in the Batman 2, his own standalone sequel. What if you get to year 10 and that's where you say, this Batman is in a very grounded, I like the contrast of worlds that they've built. And I think that that's where it interests me in a way that I'm I think there's a world where I could see this make sense, where the Batman is so grounded and so gritty and angry, but then you have this world that is trying to be so quippy and funny and has the dog and the drunk girl and all this stuff. And I think that there's a world where if you go watch I've maybe only read the comic once, but I've watched the animated movie, and I think the idea of this angry Batman who is I don't want fucking superheroes around. I don't like any of this. That angry Batman matched with this Superman that is very much like we said, there's no growth on this character. This Superman that is very rigid in his beliefs. And I guess now that I say that out loud, that's what somebody's going to come back to me with is
that
Superman
is
is a rigid character. It's like, okay, well then movies don't work when you don't have arcs to your characters. Great if that's who he is. I understand that, but like, but yeah, you know what I mean. Like, I just think that those two characters could be so dead set in their ways that it makes it so like when the clash happens that there is motive to that clash, and you could make it to where I'm not saying that this is something you do and then like you don't do what they did with the last iteration where Batman never got his own introduction and then all of a sudden you're doing Batman versus Superman. And again, like you have no story build to anything, and it's just like, well, you know these characters, so accept it. Didn't work that time either. I think that if you have this thing where Superman gets a couple movies of his own, and you've established this universe on its own of Batman over here, that there's a world where I think you can make it work. I understand that you can say it doesn't work
because they gave themselves a lot of offshoots they can do from this one movie, where it doesn't have to immediately go into Superman.
That's
2.
what I mean. Yeah.
You could get a Supergirl movie. You can give me the actual forming of the Justice League.
That's where I say, like, I think it's like as you build, you don't just rush this. I'm just saying that DC has a world where they have all this other stuff that they can work on, and just let the Batman keep like working on its own over here. Don't get involved. Don't add jokes into it. Don't do any of that shit. Just let it operate on its own and establish that Batman as its own character, because there's a world where if you give 2 or 3 movies with that character establishing himself and becoming like that Batman becoming smarter, and you're seeing the growth of his strategic capability, that you want to see him as a foe to the super powerful Superman that ideally in part 2 I see the laser vision, we get the super speed, we get more of that stuff.
He's able to kind of chain his powers together a little better.
You've established now that Kryptonite's not there. Well, maybe Batman, maybe Bruce Wayne finds
a way
it
to synthesize it or something.
Yeah, because he needs to equalize the fact that like this Superman, he won't listen to reason. He doesn't care about politics. He will just knock down all of these worlds, right?
Yeah.
Like he'll go in and stop a bad guy, but he might tear down the whole earth. The idea of why in the Zack Zack Snyder verse, that they give you that scene with Bruce Wayne watching the destruction from Man of Steel, and that motivates him to oppose Superman, right? To have safeguards to make sure that there's not this powerful being that can just control everything, right?
Yeah.
And they kind of establish it in a way with like that video, right? Which I saw a TikTok, and this isn't my original idea, but like the TikTok was talking about how like if Superman's been around for 3 years now and it's been established and you know that he's going to save the world, why would you immediately just turn on him after you see a 2-second video? Because everything he's shown you is that he's not trying to rule your world.
Yeah.
Why do you just immediately leave this video? Like, and you could tell me, well, in the world of social media, people just will believe whatever they see and jump on fads and trends and shit
also,
like that.
Why was it so easy for them to forgive the second he saves them again?
Mm-hmm.
It's like, he's been doing this.
Yeah, exactly. No growth. Didn't change.
Yeah.
Nothing changed.
I mean,
but you know what? You get what I'm saying, where it's like they have established some stuff where like they established that there's a video that says that he's coming to conquer Earth, right? Yeah. There's a video that shows that there is all this destruction that he's already doing every time he gets into a fight. Like now Metropolis is destroyed. All of that city is split in half because some guy had something to go against this person who's not of our world. So who's to say that this Batman isn't in the world seeing these things? And yeah, he has his own shit to deal with. He wants to stay in Gotham and just deal with his own stuff. But who's to say 7 years from now, if they do successfully continue to build a DC world, that you've gotten a couple Batman movies and you've built out this universe of DC, that you've had Batman on the side being like, there's a world where like if this guy goes bad, I should probably be fucking ready for it.
I can see what you're getting at, and I think, you know what's crazy? I've never actually seen the Batman vs Superman movie.
That's bad. You know, well,
I know. I've heard.
You should watch the director's cut. Is actually considered to be pretty good.
Okay.
It's very long
reviews for it, but
you should read on my Vudu.
Yeah,
I have the animated Batman vs Superman. It's a 2-part movie.
Okay,
it's fantastic. It's like it's basically the graphic novel moved into.
Basically, what I'm getting at and bringing this up though is I feel like you just spent like the last 5 minutes talking about eventually working up to another Batman vs Superman. And it's like, do we really need another one?
It is one of the most popular runs of the comic book.
Okay,
so I would say yeah.
I don't have any.
It's also your two.
Knowledge, so.
You think about what are movies truly made for? They're not made for our enjoyment. They're made for profit, right?
Yeah.
And there's a reason that Zack Snyder jumped to those movies probably first, right? Like 2 most recognizable characters, a relatively safe floor for a box office, you'd assume.
Mm.
We can jumpstart. He was trying to jumpstart a franchise by giving you your two biggest characters just right off the bat. But in this, it's like, why wouldn't you be building to that with your two most profitable characters that everybody cares about? This is the thing that everybody's always thought about Marvel and DC is it's like crazy that Marvel's been as successful because historically DC has the two biggest, most recognizable superheroes.
Yeah.
Like by far before any comic book movies were being made, the two characters that people knew were Superman and Batman. So like if you have a world where you have stories that are them fighting each other and you can get to a realistic way where they fight each other that people are invested in and care about it, I don't see a world where you wouldn't want to do it. Not that you might not have it in your immediate plans, but why wouldn't you want to do it?
I know we're technically only one movie in on this world, but do you see like an eventual future where they try to work towards like the Marvel Avengers thing? And kind of build
you'll
up
just
that
do
with
it. You'll just do a
Justice League.
You'll just do a Justice League movie at some point. And this is the thing: you could just end up casting your own Batman in this world too. Like that's fine. I think that gets muddy because then you have people. You have people who are going to choose who their Batman is.
Yeah.
And I have to believe that Robert Pattinson's probably going to win for the time being.
Yeah.
And I don't know that this tone of movie is what I want for a Batman movie right now. I really like the tone that they found with the other one.
That's fair.
But that's kind of the stuff I see going. All right, so yeah, let's talk Letterboxd. Let's go through our score of this movie, and then I kind of want to trickle down, like we said at the beginning off the top. It's been a month, maybe a little longer than that. I've probably seen 8 or 9 movies since the last time we recorded anything. And so I want to kind of get into how Superman, because you said you were thinking about changing your score on Superman. I think
it's fine where it's at, but
I want to kind of talk about, at least for me, how it caused a trickle down. It was kind of the tipping point on my list.
I did actually reorganize a lot of my list based on Superman.
So Superman became a tipping point for my list. And I believe right now I have it at 3.5 stars on my Letterboxd.
Okay. I have it at 3.5 as well. It's sitting at number 6.
So I have it at number 8, and yeah, I have it at 3.5 stars. So here's why I say it caused me to do a huge shuffle on my list. I dropped things down in terms of scoring. I moved things down in terms of ranking. And it all came back to like, okay, I want to rate this movie fairly to what I think of it. But then I also have to be fair to like, there's movies that I have. There's movies I have ahead of it that I just can't, unless I'm trolling, say that they're a better movie. So let's get into some of those. I want to start here with the first one. The biggest move that I made. And this is the thing where I come back to like people have their opinions on Superman that I think they're too high. I'm aware that on the particular franchise, I have opinions. There's 2 on this list that I think you could argue with me that I am just higher on because of personal preference. One of them I dropped down below Superman because I agree. So Jurassic World, I had too high. I 100% knew when I was doing it was too high, but the reality is this. I've said on here a million times, I think, like, not only do I watch Jurassic Park and Jurassic World, the movies, like, I watch the animated series. Like, I am more invested into that franchise than I would say 95% of the people who actually go and see the movies. Because, like, most people don't watch the animated series, I'm pretty sure. I say that at the same time, there's been 5 seasons of the first run of the animated series, and now they're on season 4 of a second run of it. So, like I say, nobody's watching it, but they've got enough people watching it that they're running it back, 9 seasons worth of animated shows. So, like, other people are out there. I've never met anybody. If you're out there, please hit me up in the DMs. I'd love to talk to somebody about the animated movies. But DMs for other reasons. I had I had like that higher because I have like an attachment to the franchise. That movie's not that good. I agree. It's a bit there's just some hokey ass shit in that movie. But I think the thing that had me was I thought that movie was going to be god awful. Like I was super low on the trailers I saw. And then when I got into the movie, the first thing was I was so happy that they brought back like a lot of practical effects. There was like just some visual shots that I thought were really, really nice. Even the CGI in that movie I thought was some of the best CGI of the year, in all honesty. So yeah, and I thought they made a story that was a little bit more along the lines of what I want out of the one thing I hope if we continue to make Jurassic Park and Jurassic World movies, let's get away from the super rich company trying to profit off of the dinosaur story.
Yeah.
And let's find a different way that we can approach, because I think that that's the immediate thing that knocks these movies down a whole star rating, is it within the first 3 minutes that I've already had it established that it's just another greedy company. And then on top of this movie's setup to that is such like a Final Destination kind of shitty setup.
What do you mean by that?
The Snickers wrapper blowing around and then going into the, you know, like that is very much a death is gonna come for you one way or another, like Final Destination trope that they use to set up an entire movie.
Yeah,
you know, like that stuff.
What do you feel about the family?
I think I liked them. Yeah, I think I liked the. Here's the thing that I like, if you watch enough YouTube videos about like the Jurassic World franchise and stuff, like a big criticism also is like, you got to have a kid in a Jurassic World movie, right? Like in a Jurassic Park movie, every single one of them has some type of kid involved in it that is a part of the story. I think it's just like, for one, it makes it relatable to children. I think it adds an element of fear because it's not like this, like, it's not Chris Pratt like nearly escaping being bitten by a dinosaur. It's a kid. It feels more in jeopardy. So I think it adds more intensity maybe to the movie, and that's why they feel like you always have to have a family in it. But I also thought it was kind of believable in the world that they set up. Like, I think it's interesting that they've kept everything in continuity now, that even if you don't necessarily love all the movies, I think the overall world itself is interesting in that, like,
I'll give it that.
Like, this family is just sailing across the ocean. And like, that's a very realistic thing. Like, they sailed where they weren't supposed to.
Yeah.
But he explains he's done it before. But like, I think that like, when you've introduced that we're 7 or 8 years since like dinosaurs have been populating the earth, and you've given me a reason why they're not in North America anymore or whatever it is. But like, the idea that you could find rogue ones, just like when you're out in the ocean, and we're already afraid enough of sharks. Well, what if there's a new apex predator that's significantly bigger? You know, I just think that like, I was fine with the setup for why the family was there. And I thought overall the stoner kid added some humor at points that like you could say the same thing I said about Superman. There was times where I was like, I didn't need the jokes there. But there was times where I was like, it added some levity to it.
I mean, I thought they were fine, and I think it's a needed balance for like the whole like mercenary plot. I just don't necessarily love the idea that they're just a regular ass family. They were on a sailing trip, they got rescued, and now they know how to traverse this whole island with dinosaurs.
Well, it wasn't necessarily like they just followed a pipeline, dude. It's not like they were like following a map or the stars. Like, they walked along a pipeline. It's not
so much how they figured out where to go as much as how easily they got there.
But they didn't.
They
He almost gets attacked by raptors, and like, they had like the joke and the sheer luck of like another animal killing the raptor, so it took it away. They had the T-Rex scene, which is visually the best scene of the whole movie. He snaps his leg early on. The dad fucks his leg up early in the movie. Like, I guess my thing is,
like he was walking fine.
No, so I do agree. There was times where they had him getting help, and then there was times where he was just running. And it was hard to like, the continuity of the injury. But I guess my point is, I don't think that they made them seem like they were like some adept family. I think because of movie logic, were able to get out of a lot of circumstances that maybe you don't think, because they don't want to kill off the family in the movie. But the reality is, for those characters, for me, if they were to make another one of these, that family is not coming back to me.
Yeah.
The thing that was important to me was the 3 leads. Mahershala Ali, Scarlett Johansson, and Jonathan Bailey. I thought by the end of the movie, I liked all 3 of those characters' arcs that they were given, and I thought you've had stuff like, she had lost somebody, he had family that he cared about, and he lost his daughter. This other guy is just trying, like, he's the nerd, like, he's the one who's finally seeing what he loves, but he's an environmentalist. He's not there for profit. He's there to save them. I thought initially the thing taking me out of the movie was Scarlett Johansson, because I thought it was really hard to not see her as Natasha, as the Black Widow.
Okay.
Like, it was another mercenary role in a lot of ways to me, and it was hard to not just see the same Scarlett Johansson.
But I didn't get that.
But it stopped bothering me after the first 30 minutes. And and I guess that's where I got to the end of the movie, and I was like, you had 3 leads that I liked. You had a few action sequences and visuals that I enjoyed, that I came away being like, that exceeded my expectation, which led to me maybe overrating it.
Gotcha.
So I dropped it down. So I have that at 10, which is still maybe high for a lot of people, but some of this has got to be my personal stuff. Where do we want to go next, Dante? I want to talk to you about this one, I think, first, because I have it pretty high on my list. Did we see F1?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Let's see. You're the car guy of the podcast. You are a car aficionado. Let's get the breakdown for F1 from you.
Honestly, man, I liked it a lot, but I also found myself throughout the entire movie comparing it to Gran Turismo, which I don't think is a knock to it because I really liked Gran Turismo as well.
Mm-hmm.
But just a lot of it felt very familiar to that.
Sure.
I feel like it was maybe a little better acted.
I'd imagine Brad Pitt probably
did
a better job. Yeah.
Initially, I liked it, but I didn't think we were getting enough of the racing. And of course, then you get to a point where it's like it's all racing, and I was like, hell yeah.
Yeah.
But that's more so where I'm comparing it to Gran Turismo, where they're going through this tournament, and you're going race by race, and they have their downfalls here and there. What I love is that they were the absolute worst team, and even though they get up to their win, it was never like that, oh, they're just going to be the best by the end.
No, it was more camaraderie that, like them becoming a team was what built them to be better.
The way like him and like the younger driver like played off of each other, like I love that. Like, where they like at points like were against each other, at points gained respect for each other, and kind of the whole back and forth.
I found myself just feeling like this is a really enjoyable movie experience.
Yeah.
The acting performances are all solid. The sounds, the visuals are all there. I think you can relate to the characters, and you understand their motives and what they're looking for to succeed. And you want to see them succeed. Like, I think all of these things are true. I think the only thing I found for myself that knocked it down a little, and I have, to be fair, this is ranked number 3 on my list of the year.
It's number 2 for me.
Yeah. So I have it super high. My one knock would be maybe a little too generic sports movie in a way.
What sense?
Like, okay, like the two rivals the one older guy who's stuck in his ways with the new guy who wants to take his spot. Like, there's just a lot of sports tropes. And that's fine. It's a sports movie when you really get down to the end of it.
Yeah.
Like, so it's going to have those tropes. And the thing that separates really good sports movies from really bad ones isn't necessarily that they reinvent the wheel with the story that they're told. It's the execution of the story that makes it work so well. And I think when you have somebody like Brad Pitt at the helm, and then I think also the fact that when you look at the executive producers, that's like Hamilton, like all of the highest F1 racers are on this movie as executive producers, or even in the movie itself, right?
Okay.
So Lewis Hamilton, that's his name. So I think that when you have like the right people attached to it, they were able to execute on a very, very solid movie. Not to the casting was top notch. So while I thought like the movie was maybe a little cookie cutter in some ways, I thought it was executed to a point. And like, we don't get a lot of like, dude, there used to be a world like 10, 15 years ago. And especially when we were like when we were like children, even more so, like sports movies was like a guaranteed way to make a great movie and to have people see it, Like, because you could always have like sports movies allow you to relate to the characters because you've played sports before in your life. You understand this, like you understand the work that they're putting into it and how much they care and love about it. And so it makes it easy to relate when they fail. And then it makes it even easier to root for them when they're trying to come up, right? And like get there. To where like, I feel like we just didn't get that. We hadn't had really good sports movies over the better part of like 8 to 10 years to me now. Like, I can't think of maybe there's one or two you can pull for me, but I just don't think of
one either. But I feel like there's got to like 8 to 10 years is a long time.
But yeah, look up the best sports movies of the 2010s. And I guarantee you the stuff I'm forgetting, but I just remember like a lot in the past in the 2010s was like sports movies that came out that like just were generic. Like, they didn't have like any real plot to them. Like you cared about football, so you watched it. It was another football movie, but you weren't getting, Remember the Titans or any of that stuff that you got when we were kids. Like, I mean, even like right down to like a movie that's not that great, like We Are Marshals, like an emotional movie that you had Matthew McConaughey in,
I love that in the top 5, there's just 2 more racing movies.
Because I would say, what's the one that we saw? The soccer movie.
Oh yeah,
Like that's
yeah,
and that's a totally different type of sports movie. That's a joke. That's more of a humor, like on the level like a Cool Runnings, like sports movie.
I see
But that was a fun
Yeah.
sports movie. That's probably one of the more fun sports movies I've seen in a long time.
I'm also seeing Rush, Ford versus Ferrari.
So okay, so because like racing was an untapped market, but I was gonna say this: the do you think that crash and you've seen Rush, right?
Yeah.
The crash in this movie was very much to me inspired from the crash in Rush.
Yeah.
The only difference in this, the dude in Rush gets really fucked up, and it's a true story. This is where I say inspired. Like he has the burns, he has to overcome the burns. Like that's what they used as the way to kind of get him out of the car.
Yeah.
And the crash was very much rainy thing. What he was racing against Hemsworth, and they were competing, and that's why he crashed in Rush. Chris Hemsworth's character.
Yeah.
Versus this one, he was just trying to take the lead, and he was actually getting help from Brad Pitt's character.
Yeah. Sonny Hayes,
yeah. I saw some racing movie inspired stuff, but I think that's a thing, and I think Ford vs. Ferrari is still better than this movie, probably.
Creed,
great sports movie. Yeah, fair. Creed would probably be it. Creed 3, not so much. Creed 1 and 2, sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I have this at 3. It's definitely the highest of anything I've seen in the past like month and a half or so. What else? We never talked about 28 Weeks Later. There's not much to go over on that. 28 years later, excuse me. Not a ton to go over on that just because like it's not so fresh in my mind. I would just say this, it is one of the other movies that is in front of Superman for me. So I have 28 Years Later at 6. Where do you have it?
I have it a lot further down. I don't have numbers here, so I can't. I gotta count.
Why don't you just put the turn numbers on? You can just do that.
13. I figured I'd give you that before I waste time trying to figure out how to put on the numbers.
I know how to do it on the phone. I don't know how to do it on the
computer. And that's where I was like, I don't know. Yeah.
Okay, and then the other one that I saw that I have higher. This is probably unpopular, but I go back to personal preference as opposed to just strictly quality of movie. I have Ballerina higher than Superman.
I have it just behind Superman.
And I can see it being controversial that I have it in front of Superman. I thought that movie, I go back to some of my feelings on Jurassic World, where I'm like, I went into that movie being like, all right, like this will be cool. But not like super high expectations. I was kind of figuring it'd be a watered down version of John Wick, right? And I think I found myself in that movie being like, this
very
action,
pleasantly surprised.
Action is phenomenal. Ana de Armas is great. I care about this is John Wick universe, and I feel that.
Yeah.
It feels true to the universe, but I like that like the way that this fighting is different than the John Wick fighting to a point, like more hand to hand, a little bit more dirty, like she has to cheat a little bit more, like all of that stuff. I really liked that. I liked also just like, so again, like what John Wick does so well, but like the scene which she gets to the town and she goes into that diner.
Yeah.
And like she's fighting in there, and like you have this really great like one-shot fight sequence with the dude, and then you get to the fight to the girl. And then the girl, they have the plate scene, and they're hitting each other with the plates, and then like,
and that's the part where you start to realize it's the whole freaking town.
Yeah, and then like she gets knocked into and this is very much not a John Wick thing. I don't really remember it happening in any of the John Wick. She gets stuck in the freezer, and it's like then it builds up to this other fight, but then like all the while she's in the freezer, and it bleeds back into like her jumping out of the freezer, like, and then the ice skates on the ice fishing little setup that they have, or it was a dock for a boat, maybe.
Yeah, it was like because it was inside.
Yeah,
right? Yeah.
So it was either
like
a boat dock
that was frozen.
Yeah. So when she's on that with the ice skates though, and like sliding around and swinging the things around, like all of that was awesome. Her her ability, like the multiple times she throws shit, like throws knives and like the skates and kills
I think the
people.
only action scene that still bothers me, and it bothered me from the trailer, was the fire hose against the flamethrower.
I think that flamethrower is the flamethrower itself. That whole scene building up to it, the fact that there's a couple scenes in this where they use
the flamethrower scenes were great. I'm just saying the scene.
I thought the hose was still an incredible shot.
Okay.
Like visual. Like why your issue is the logic, I assume?
That part felt cheesy.
Your issue is the logic.
Okay, maybe, yeah.
John Wick has a suit that's bulletproof.
Yeah.
That whole world is built on no logic. So my thing is, like, they found a way to have an extravagant set piece that they knew was so good visually because they actually did it, that they shot it 3 times in the movie. They showed you 3 different angles in one fucking movie of the same shot because they were like, oh, we have one here. You can think it's as illogical as fucking possible. We did that shit and we filmed it. Like, that's where I'm like, I don't even think it was necessarily full CGI because I'm like, they gave you 3 separate shots to show you the shit hitting.
Yeah.
Because they want it to be like in Dolby, like that's the commercial that they show you before fucking Dolby, basically, right?
Fair.
Like, and not to mention, like I said, look, I was gonna say, they use her to the point where I know that they didn't have stunt doubles a couple different times. When she gets hit by the fucking car, and she's standing on the outside of the car, getting pushed by it, and you're just one shot take with her face in it the whole time, so you know that she did the stunt. Is awesome. And then them doing a fucking gunfight with 2 flamethrowers where you see them in frame, no cuts the entire time, and you can tell they're drenched in shit to stop them from lighting on fire.
Yeah.
I don't give a fuck. Because you're getting shots of Ana de Armas behind a wall with just flames engulfing her.
Yeah.
And it's her. Like, that stuff I was just like so caught up in. And then obviously, like, the John Wick stuff being integrated into it is a little forced. I feel like they had to do it because they wanted people to see the movie and they thought people wouldn't see it. I think
calling it a John Wick film is part of what they expected to bring people in, and they felt like if they don't give you John Wick, it might not get the same love.
That is not true. Because that's 100% reshoots that they did.
Oh yeah.
So I'm not I don't have this 100% confirmed, but I'm fairly confident in this that what probably happened is they filmed the movie. They maybe had the one scene with John Wick that's the cutout from the 3rd movie.
Yeah.
That they just show you the other side in the house. They probably only had that. And then they probably did the initial screening and people in an office somewhere were like, hey, this is really solid, but we don't know from a box office perspective that that it's got the buzz that we need. We probably need a little bit more of Keanu. And that's why, what's the first thing you see in the trailer? The trailer that they showed for this movie was him stepping off of...
Yeah.
You didn't know in the moment. You thought, like, you didn't know how involved he was going to be, but they show him stepping off that train and talking to her in the trailer. Like, that stuff, anything at the end there, because it doesn't fit in the grand scheme of the 4 John Wick movies. Really, like, that action sequence is kind of hard to place on, like, where did he have the time to do this?
Yeah.
To where I'm almost positive that they were like, we probably need a little more Keanu so this movie gets buzz once it's out, that he's in it and you get a full John Wick fight scene.
Yeah. I mean, overall, I like the movie. I think another thing that bothered me was the way he, like, goes after her, but then he's like, oh, I'll give you till midnight, and it just kind of felt
100% in line with his character.
Is it?
I mean,
maybe I haven't paid enough
think about what
he's
been trying to get out for the whole time. He's been telling her, you can leave at any time. Like, he also... Like, think about what he's been granted. Like, he's been given clocks like, hey, like, you should die. I'll give you till this time to accomplish what you need to. And I think he saw in the grander scheme of things the pain that she's going through. Like, he killed a whole fucking universe because they killed his dog. So they killed her family. He can relate to that motivation. Secondly, he's a smart, calculated dude that what did he call the lady and tell her afterwards? She's like, is she dead? No, he is. Because he stayed there helping her get to the goal of, like, I don't need to kill this girl. I just think that this is the case. Like,
he's like, I understand the reason they sent me after her is because of him.
But if I just take out the other side of the equation, nobody can ever come after them. So, like, the girl gets to live, who's doing this for the right reasons. I still want her to get out because I've been telling her to get out.
Yeah.
I'm trying to fucking get out and I can't get out. Maybe I can save this girl again. You know, I just think it makes sense from the grander what we know of that character, like he's not a malicious killer. He doesn't really even want to kill anymore. He was at one point, I'm sure, a malicious killer.
Yeah.
But the guy that we see is a vengeful killer. He's one that is killing to get because he's backed into a corner more than anything at this point.
Out of a need.
He was content at the beginning of John Wick 1 with his life. Like he was past all of this, So I guess that's where I don't really see the problem with, like, I kind of liked that, where he just kept telling her to leave and go home. I don't want to kill you. He never tried to kill her once. It's not like he changed his mind. The very first time they start fighting, he just disarms her and is like, I don't want to hurt you. Leave.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe the movie's not as fresh in my brain because now I feel like what I was getting at is more so like the whole time, the whole village or whatever it is going after her, and they know he's there, but they leave him alone until the end.
Do you know what universe this is? He's the most feared person. Like every one of them, like they called and were like, stay off the streets. We have a guy here. Like they don't, nobody, if anybody wants to, you see what he did to her.
Yeah.
And then think about what she was doing to them.
Yeah.
And just like the way he like, we've seen him get the shit kicked out of him. He killed like 7 people in that town and barely broke a fucking sweat.
Yeah.
Like, so yeah, I have that at 7. I think I'm speaking about it passionately enough that you can tell I really enjoyed it. And if you're a fan of the overall John Wick thing, I thought by the end of John Wick 4, I was getting a little burnt out on, like, it felt a little bit like the same over and over again. I never watched The Continental, but I think that this refreshed it for me. Like, I thought this was a fresh enough take that I really liked it.
Because The Continental was a series, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I never watched it.
None of us watched it, yeah. Next up, How to Train Your Dragon. We'll spend 2 seconds here. I've never seen the animated movie. I saw this. I came out of it being like, wow, I really just got to shut off my brain and enjoy watching a movie.
And while I liked it, I think I'm kind of jealous of your ability to watch it without having seen the animated movie.
Yeah.
Because I think I would have liked it more. And I don't think I should really hold that against it, but it's just the fact that it was an exact play-by-play of the animated movie.
Oh, I've since watched about half the animated movie, and it's shot for shot.
It's an exact play-by-play. So it took a lot of the immersion out of it for me, where it was like, I know exactly what's going to happen. And I only really had to rely on how it was acted and how it looked visually, which was great.
Yeah.
But it didn't allow me to kind of get a fresh take on the story, so to speak.
I think I want to talk about the more grander ramifications I think that this movie had for me. It made me not want to see stuff in Dolby anymore.
Really?
Because I think I said this to you.
Thing,
yeah, like I think I said this to you. I just found myself on a couple of scenes where he's flying on the dragon and like the top of his head was getting cut off, or like it was just boxed in too tight, where I felt like they should have been trying to show me this like really beautiful, like vast landscape, and I felt like I wasn't seeing all of it. And it started back at Sinners when I watched the video about like aspect ratios of IMAX and how like, and it showed the scale changing and how much more you were able to see. And even though in Sinners, it's like, you're not necessarily seeing more important stuff. Like it's not adding stuff up here.
Visually immersive.
It's just, it immerses you more because the world, you're just deeper into the world. You're seeing more of the sky. You're seeing more of the ground.
More ambient,
like all of it around it. And I just thought that like there were scenes in that I was like, damn, like I kind of wish I saw this in IMAX, because I think I would have appreciated some of that more. So now I'm in the thing of like, if it says filmed for IMAX, I'm gonna see it in IMAX.
Okay.
If it doesn't say filmed for IMAX, I don't care.
Gotcha.
Because if it's not filmed for IMAX, then it's not gonna look any different from screen to screen. But if it was filmed for IMAX, it was filmed on the cameras for IMAX, I want to see it the way that it was filmed.
Fair enough.
And so like that movie is just now a trickle down effect of that. But I have that at 9th.
That's a lot further back for me. It's at 16, but I said why.
I'm high on movies this year, dude.
Yeah.
That's the other part I'm not talking about. Like I had some of these movies at 3.5 stars. That once I put Superman at 3.5 stars, I was like,
bump them down to 3s.
I was like, I have to bump these down. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm trying to remember ones that we haven't talked about. So I'm pretty sure we didn't talk about this. Materialists.
I didn't see it.
Oh, you never saw it.
You can still.
I mean, there's not like it's so far in the past. It's hard 4 weeks ago, probably.
Yeah.
You know, this is a movie out of the stuff for the summer that I was anticipating, but was pretty high up on it because as we've taught you, if you've watched the channel enough, I am a very big fan of rom-coms, teen dramas, go down the list, young adult films, whatever the fuck. I never grew up Peter Pan shit. I don't know. So Materialist though is like rom-com, but with fucking adult established actors, and I feel like most like it's not even it's a rom-com, but it's like it's definitely teeters the line of just being a romance movie. You know, I call everything rom-com that's like just could be a drama or a romance movie. I just kind of lump them into rom-com, I guess, but a romantic movie nonetheless.
Yeah, but I've heard you refer to The Notebook as a rom-com.
Sure, exactly. Like it's just like that's how they work in my mind. But you had 3 actors that are all like in their 40s, you know, like super established, and I feel like you don't get a lot of those types of films from that genre. Generally, you're getting like the 20-year-old who's, you know, lost, who finds the person and they, like, you know, whatever it is, like, or they're sick and they need the other. It's just always like that type of thing, as opposed to like these grown adults that, like, I think for where I'm at in my life, it felt more relatable. Like I'm mid-30s, about to be into the back half of my 30s, and like it's so Chris Evans and Dakota Johnson's characters dated when they were young, you know, when they were in their early 20s, and they were broke, living in a apartment with two other roommates, and like his car's breaking down on the side of the road and he can't afford to take her to nice dinners, but she is she sets people up on like with their dream people, like she's a
matchmaker.
That's what I was looking for. It's her profession, but she cares more about like maybe more materialistic things, right?
Okay.
And they end up breaking up and they don't see each other for 10 years, and she's been doing the matchmaker job and like lives in a $3,000 New York apartment, you know, now, and like has nice things and presents like she's got her shit together and all of that stuff, you know, like I guess the thing I really like about the movie is more like the idea of it than I liked a lot of the execution. Like I think I came away with the movie being a little bit more disappointed because I thought it had this ceiling that could have been so high because of the actors that are involved, and even like some of it was done really, really well, but the overall message is like that we live our life so superficially. Like we'll put on a dating app like these regimented things that we want the other person to have. And if they don't check every single one of those buckets, they could, or I guess the thing is like they could check 9 out of the 10 of those buckets, but because they weren't tall enough, or their smile wasn't nice enough, or they didn't have a good enough job, like this one thing will stop us from like really loving somebody. And like she basically ends up with what's the guy, the name is just not their real life name. The Last of Us.
Pedro Pascal?
Yes. So like Pedro Pascal is a guy who she ends up just meeting at a person that she arranges to be together. He's the brother of one of those people. And she meets him at the wedding and he's heard about her, but he's a billionaire. He's got everything he could ever want in the world. And he's tall and he's handsome, he's kind and all of these things, right? And like checks all of the boxes for her. And like, but at that same night, she ends up, the person who's waiting at the wedding is Chris Evans. And Chris Evans is still struggling, working in community theater, working part-time jobs as a cater waiter. But like they immediately, like there's a spark still there, you know, like, but he's dealing with like the mental part of like, I've wanted to be with this girl my whole, like everything in my life is like, I've wanted to be with this girl, but I was never good enough. And I'm still not good enough. I'm still driving a shitbox car. I still live in a shitbox apartment, and I still have no fucking money to my name, you know? Like he's got like that mental thing going on where, you know, like on the other side, you find out like stuff about Pedro Pascal's character where it's like, he looks like he has everything, but you find out that like
he's miserable or whatever.
No, he had like plastic surgery. Like he didn't have everything. He had all of this money. The people that she has been watching these girls turn down all these times, he was that guy. Him and his brother are twin brothers. They were both like 5'8", and they got super expensive surgery to make themselves taller.
Oh.
So now they're 6'1" or
So that's
6
an
feet.
option?
Yeah, there's
People can do
you can
that?
get leg extensions. Like generally, like dwarfs will do it.
Oh.
Like I know I know of a specific person in my mind who's done it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like an
Like
online.
someone you know personally?
No,
Oh,
like
okay.
an online personality.
Gotcha.
But yeah, he had all the money. He had the personality. He had all the things that these women say they wanted, but because he was 5'8", people wouldn't even look at him. So he changed one thing. So like the whole time she's like in love with all this materialistic stuff on him, and it's like it's a facade, it's fake. And the real love, that like the message I guess would be like the real love is like the genuine love. It's the guy
Yeah.
that's still in the shitbox apartment that I fought with and all of that stuff, you know, that you fought through. Like I said, I think the overall like thought process behind the movie and the message I liked of it, but I thought like Dakota Johnson is tough, man. Like she can just be. I thought it was a good performance from her too, but like just
Still
like
not her biggest fan, huh?
no, I don't know, man. She's not great, and I think the problem is I think all three actors are solid actors, but I think that there was just something missing from the movie to take it to the next level for me.
Okay.
Anything else? Did you see Friendship?
No.
All right, I don't really need to talk
How
about
was
it.
that?
I have it lowly rated.
Okay.
I
That's
didn't
kind of what I
think.
expected, which is why I didn't go see it.
I only gave it 2 stars. I didn't think it was that funny. I understand like
It's
a lot of people
whole
like
dark
it.
humor thing, and like I just know like that level of dark humor has been a miss for me. So I was like, I'm not doing
Yeah.
it.
So yeah, I have it at 28, pretty low on the list. I don't think there's. Oh, we saw 40 Acres.
Oh yeah.
That's a pretty minor release in terms of notability. I have it pretty low, but it's not that I didn't like it. I said again, like I think actually, generally speaking, I've just seen a lot of movies that I've liked this year.
Yeah.
But I see that we're actually very different on our scores of this movie.
Oh, are you looking at mine?
Yeah, I see yours.
Yeah.
You have I have 2.5 stars.
I have it at 3.5.
Yeah, yeah. Listen, like
I think
it's a kind of a dry movie. Like I just thought it was kind of boring. Like I thought it was like super interesting. Like I thought the idea that they had was really good, but I thought like there was a lot of the movie that nothing happened.
I mean, I think that's fair.
Also, a month ago, just throw that out there.
Yeah. I think they just kind of threw you into a world, gave you the quick text blurb of this is what's going on and why we're here, and then you're just kind of expected to fill in the rest. So I can see that being a drawback on it, but
I should take notes because like I just, I had actual vitriol probably behind why I had an opinion on it when I came out of it. Where
and now you can't even think of it.
and to be fair, like 2.5 is just dead center. Like
Yeah.
like it sounds worse to me. Like, but I think when I was doing
But I know
it,
what 2.5 means
but
for you. Like,
but I was
it's-
just like, yeah,
it was
it's just
okay.
yeah, it's fine. Like, but it's not something I would unless I thought you were gonna be super into the like what it was about.
Yeah.
I don't know that I would push somebody to go and check it out unless it was just kind of their vibe, you know?
Yeah, I can see that. I mean, I liked it. I can't really voice the reasons on why, but yeah.
Anything else on your list that we didn't talk about? I don't know if we ever did. We never talked Mission Impossible, actually.
Did we not?
No, because we went to California to see that, right? And we haven't done the podcast since.
Right.
Me and Dante spent a week in California sharing a bed.
We did not share a bed. There were 2 beds in the room. We shared a room. We did not share a bed.
We shared other things.
No.
A shower,
Okay.
a sink,
Yeah.
a trash, a TV, bit.
No.
I probably drank from your drink at least once.
All right.
Yeah, man. We didn't talk about Mission Impossible. Shit. Let's end there.
Okay.
I saw it twice.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, I didn't. Okay. Here's another thing. We didn't talk about California. California could be a whole other podcast, maybe.
Yeah.
But we went to the movies in California, and I just thought the IMAX that we saw it in was pretty trash.
We did see it in IMAX.
But we saw it in like one of the old IMAXs,
Yeah.
like like super stadium seating, tight seats, like everything was kind of tight together. Also, not a ton of people in the theater, but for some reason, like all directly sitting on top of us in one row.
Like everybody wanted to buy seats in one section.
In one row in the middle, yeah. Basically that, So I remember watching it the first time And I was just kind of like, it's definitely better than the last one, but like they peaked at like 6. Like Fallout is the peak.
Yeah.
And maybe they stuck around a couple
little
movies too long. However, that's why I was like, but maybe I just was like not totally in it because I didn't like the environment I was in. I had the person hitting my chair.
Oh yeah.
That was the other part of it. I forgot about saying this. That was the other part. I had somebody kicking my chair for so much of the movie that I just don't think I was angry at times during that movie. Like I just don't think I was totally in it to where because at the end they have this like Luther does this beautiful fucking speech and like I'm like, dude, I love this franchise. It's a top 5er for me. Like it's like I love this character and like this is supposed to be the send off. And I just felt like I didn't get that out of when I saw it in California. Like I enjoyed it, but I just left it not feeling that way. So I made a point when I got back home that I was like, dude, I'm gonna see this in IMAX at least one more time because I'll probably never get the opportunity to see it in IMAX again. Let me get to the theater before it's gone. So like the day before the new movies came out, that it was gonna get pushed out of the theater, I got in there and I saw it again, and boy, I loved it. I fucking loved it, man. Like,
blew your load,
holy shit, dude! Like, there was just every movie I have to. It's just you sound like a broken record. I'm like watching this guy do the underwater sets that are all fucking practical and all real, and I'm like, this is so crazy that this guy. Because you know what it was in between seeing it in the theater and then going to see it again. I also saw videos talking about the making of the movie a lot more and explaining stuff. And it was like seeing the way that the underwater thing was shot with like when the ship is shifting and moving and he's navigating through all this stuff and like he's doing that. And then like the fact that they just hooked up GoPros all over a fucking plane. And then he literally sat on the side of a plane and to the point where the wind was so bad that there was times that they didn't know that he passed out. Because they had him up there without the without the blocker or anything that. And there was times that they said that he literally passed out because the wind and stuff would be so much on him when he was up there and the G-forces were so high. But yeah, then when I rewatched it and like a lot of people's feedback is like that the flying scene goes on for a long time.
It does.
Like it's like a 30-minute set piece of that movie. Is like
I don't think it's 30 minutes.
From him, you have to remember it's not there. It starts with him grabbing on the bottom of the first plane. He has to take over the first plane.
Oh shit!
Has to go from the first plane, has a dogfight, then transfers from the first plane to the second plane, and then takes over the second plane. Like that, it's about 30 to 40 minutes worth of time that they're on that one action sequence. Because you're also bouncing back and forth between them trying to disarm the bomb in the cave and all of that stuff. Yeah. So there's a lot of other stuff going on at the same time that you're bouncing. And also the president has to decide whether you're also having the scenes with the president deciding whether or not to decide. It's she, you fucking sexist.
All right. I'm sorry. G. It's not sexist. I just don't remember.
Only in real life can a woman not be president, Dante.
Maybe they should watch their emails.
Probably a fair point. Dante. So, but to go back and like see the behind the scenes and to know that like again, I know that he does all of this stuff, but it's still like being that fucking rich but at the same time being like, I just want to make action movies, but I want to do the action. Like I really just am like a thrill seeker who makes movies.
Not only like being that rich, but being at his age. Like he's almost 60.
I think he is 60.
Actually, yeah, he might be 60.
Yeah, and looks great. And I hated his haircut in this movie. That was a downside. Like he went back to like Mission Impossible 2 kind of haircut, I think, and it just didn't play for me. Like I don't believe that Haley Atwell would love that man. um, but yeah, dude, like just watch behind the scenes and then go watch that plane sequence and know that it's just him with GoPros all around a plane while he's just like on the end of it doing all these crazy maneuvers to stay on it, with just one little like strap holding him onto it is crazy, you know?
Yeah.
So yeah, I like that's the one, not to keep throwing Dave because he's not here, but like that's one of the ones he was annoyed with me that I had higher than Superman because I have it at 4.
Okay.
I would just say this, personal preference. I don't think there's tangibly a huge difference between the two qualities of movies. And thirdly, it's my list. I love Ethan Hunt. I love Ethan Hunt. And again, just to get back to it, Luther being like such, like I just think they had a good idea. I think using Luther the way they did in that last movie, because he is so much of like, he's been the voice in other movies for Ethan where Ethan doesn't talk about his feelings. If you go back to Fallout, he's talking to Bridget Monahan, who is his ex-wife from the earlier movies, and like telling her about who Ethan's been, because Ethan isn't gonna say it himself. Like he's just been the voice. He understands Ethan's character so much, and he's been kind of the heart of this 8 films that they've made at this point. Like he's the heart of them, I think, in a lot of ways. Like I think that them doing a voiceover, like it just tied everything together really, really well. So yeah, that's 100% a recommend. Let's do that real quick. Is that what? So I mean, obviously anything in front of Superman is a recommend because I'd recommend Superman. So right off the bat, this is where I think that like I've had this has been a really solid, at least summer thus far, because my top,
everything I've watched in the past month has been at least 3 stars.
Yeah, basically, right? Like, because I would recommend F1. It's tough if it's not in IMAX anymore. Like, I think that that's an experience.
100%.
Mission Impossible, 28 years later, Ballerina, fucking Superman, How to Train, if you have kids especially, has got to be great. I thought Jurassic World is a good family film. I did want to say, I didn't mention this, when I saw that movie, I saw it at like noon, and there was like a group of 4 teenagers in the theater. Or they might not have been teenagers. They might have been 12 and they got dropped off by their dad. It sucked.
That's always a shit experience.
Yeah, they were only shitty before the movie started, and then they clapped at like certain point. Like they were just annoying at some points, but it wasn't. I was like, it probably would suck if I wasn't in the handicap seats and I was up where they were sitting. It would annoy me more.
When I went to see F1, there was like a couple that came in like halfway through the movie and sat like almost directly next to me, like only one seat separating us. And it typically wouldn't have bothered me except for the fact that not only did you pay for premium viewing, like I watched in Adobe, but you also are now sitting there on your phone, like rustling really loud, like bags of chips and shit. And I'm just like, what the fuck are you doing here?
That annoys me. Also, when I saw F1, I was the only, it was like I saw it after it had already been in the theater for 2 weeks. It had a long run in IMAX.
Yeah.
And it was the last day it was going to be in IMAX. I went and saw it. And I bought that was another, I saw it at 11 a.m., dude. I bought the ticket when nobody else had bought tickets, and I bought the one dead center first row IMAX. I get into the theater, I show, because now they're telling you 15 to 20 minutes of trailers before your movie. It's like 25 to 35, let's be fucking honest. But
they actually just upped it, didn't they?
Yeah, maybe, because they were lying. Maybe it says 25 to 30.
25 to 30.
Got it. But either way, I got there a little later. I get there, and there's just a couple that bought the seats directly behind me, which, like, it's empty everywhere else.
Yeah.
I don't really want to sit with the person directly in the seat behind me. I want to have you in my peripherals, at least. So I ended up sacrificing myself and sitting a little off center. And then I was annoyed because I kept seeing he would put his feet up, and his feet were just poking through. And that's in my peripherals. It's just his feet fucking sitting on the seat next to me. Like a seat over, but next to me. And then like occasionally he would talk to his girlfriend. That didn't bother me as much, but like it was just, you fucked my day up a little bit. You inconvenienced me. But yeah, to say what I would recommend, I mean, like almost everything. Like I said, I wouldn't, like Friendship, not for me. Wouldn't recommend it. 40 Acres, you don't need to go out of your way to check that out. Materialist, I would also say you don't need to go out of your way to check that out. We didn't talk about it, but The Accountant 2, same deal. It was good, but nothing special. And then, yeah, getting up into those the top 8, I think are all, if you want to go to the theater, you should have checked them out, or you still can. Definitely do that. How to Train Your Dragon and Jurassic World. Funny that they're next to each other on my list. They're fine. Like, check them out. Like, I wouldn't say go to the movies, but once they hit streaming, watchable.
Okay. Yeah.
There. We're about 2 hours deep. Anywhere else we want to go?
Home? No.
I'm here. All right. Well, hopefully we won't be gone for much longer this time. But you know, if you got this deep in, appreciate you.
Sometimes
Thanks for coming back.
A little refresher, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. We will be back because my most anticipated movie of the summer is this week.
What's coming this week?
I Know What You Did Last Summer.
Oh, finally.
That is this Thursday.
Hell yeah.
It's going to be bad. I just want to get ahead of it. But I'm going to tell you.
I love the hype fest to follow up with it's going to be bad.
It's going to be bad, but I'm going to come in here and give it a 3.5 stars minimum and tell you to watch it. So stick around for that fucking review, buddy. And if that's all, Dante.
That's all, folks.
Please like, comment, share, and subscribe. Didn't tell you at the beginning, but if you're still here at the end, like, comment, share, subscribe on the video. And yeah, welcome back. Till then, we bid you.
Yeah. That's all, folks.
Well, no, that's a new catchphrase?
No, that's copyright infringement.
All right, so can I do my thing? Until next week, we bid you. Ballet. Adieu.
We're still doing that, okay.
For those with good taste.
Like,